Good morning if you're on the West Coast. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. And welcome to our webinar today. We are Federal Employee Benefit Advisors, and we're very happy to have you with us today for a half hour. Short and sweet, we're taking a deep dive into Social Security maximization. So we hope you get a lot out of today's session. And thank you again for being here. So my name is James Campbell. I'm a co-founder of FEBA, along with my good friend, Justin Pierce. So I'm just going to do a little bit about who I am, and then we're going to introduce Justin. He's going to tell you a little bit about who he is, and then we'll go over an agenda and some disclosures, and we're going to jump right into it. So first and foremost, I'm a husband and father. This is my wonderful family here, my wife, Betsy, and our three wonderful kids. In my professional world, first and foremost, I am a fiduciary. And that means that I am required to look out for other people's best interests, not my own. This is a really big deal. A lot of people don't understand this when they start looking for financial advice or someone to help them plan for retirement. You always want to make sure someone's required to look out for you and not for them. So I am a fiduciary. I will always maintain my fiduciary status because I believe in that heavily. I've got two professional designations that specifically apply to federal benefits and retirement. The first one is called a Chartered Federal Employee Benefits Consultant. The second one is called a Federal Retirement Consultant. So it's important to understand both of these designations are recognized by FINRA, who's the Financial Regulatory Authority. And both of these have annual testing requirements. So every December, Justin and I get to take these awesome proctor tests to renew our designations for the next year, even though after all these years, we still have to prove we're still experts to carry those designations. So those are important to look for as a federal employee searching for someone to help them or assist them or guide them in the retirement planning or the retirement process. We specialize exclusively working with federal employees and their spouses. We have done this for a lot of years. Between Justin and I, we have more than 2 decades of working only for federal employees. So not only do we know investments and retirement, we also know your retirement system, your benefit structure inside and out. This is what we've dedicated our careers to. I am one of the co-authors of The Informed Fed. It's a book just on federal benefits and retirement. It's in just plain English, not real wordy, pretty easy to read. And we're going to talk how later in the session, how you can get a free digital copy of that book. A lot of good info in there. Lastly, very important to disclose, I am not a federal employee. We are not a federal agency. We are not hired by the government. We are a private sector educational financial services firm that happens to specialize in federal benefits and retirement. So what does that mean? Well, all of our education, all the services we do for federal employees is free of charge to them. Okay, so we don't get paid from the government. We get paid directly from financial institutions that help with things that federal employees need, like investments and insurances, estate planning, annuities. Pretty soon we're going to have a Medicare division. So in all those situations, our services are free. We get paid directly from the companies that we work with to solve those solutions. So you never have to worry about being on the clock or getting billed when you're chatting with us. So that's why we always encourage people to take advantage of our free one-on-one consultations that we offer through these. All right, so I'm going to just wrap that up for now and introduce my good friend and colleague, Justin Pierce.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Pierce here, hailing from Charlotte, North Carolina. I used to live in Tucson, Arizona with James until I finally wised up and realized that triple-digit heat week after week after week wasn't for me. Some people like it. It's okay for others, but, you know, it just made me angry. So I had to get back here to the East Coast, closer to all my federal employees that I'm going to be seeing in D.C. this week. If you're registered for that seminar that we're going to have, great. I'm looking forward to seeing you. If not, I'll make sure that everybody who attended here, if you're in the D.C. area, make sure that you get an invitation to that as well. But as James said, first and foremost, I'm a husband and father. This is my family, Rachel, my beautiful wife, and my children, Allie, Zach, Maddie, and Lily. And I'm also a fiduciary, as James mentioned, and I am a chartered federal employee benefit consultant and federal retirement consultant. And I've been doing this for over 15 years now. I started working in the home, like coming to people, seeing federal employees in their home, giving them federal benefits information presentations. And now we've designed a very good, robust, comprehensive virtual service that we help folks nationwide, just like you. And one of the other things that we do, if you're interested in any sort of education for your union or for your management association, we can tailor educational events from 30 minutes, as you're seeing today, all the way to a full day. So don't hesitate to let us know if that's something you're interested in. Also, a co-author of this book here, The Informed Fed, along with James, and then not a federal employee. So let's go ahead and get on with it. We're going to get out of here in about 25 minutes. We know you're busy. These are lunch and learns for a reason. We know what our federal employees want, and we're going to make sure that we deliver. Let's talk to you a little bit about our other federal retirement consultants. You may not be speaking with James or I if you request a consultation, depending on a lot of different factors, but we have highly trained and very good and talented federal retirement consultants waiting to talk with you, waiting to answer your questions. These are them right here, and they are supported by our great assistant team. Now, let's talk quickly about disclosures. Obviously, we are not going to give anybody any investment advice today. We are not attorneys. We are not CPAs. We are not federal employees. Okay. So the information that we deliver today is based on years of research. We may or may not say something that isn't 100% accurate. And it doesn't mean that we're trying to do anything other than trying to give you the best information possible. Just make sure that with what we tell you today, you confirm that, right? Good old Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify. So, well, we want to make sure that we give you as much good information as possible. Now, let's go ahead and talk about how to get a copy of the free book, The Informed Fed. And the way you do it is by scheduling a consultation. It's quite simple. So what you're going to receive during a complimentary consultation with James or I or one of our federal retirement consultants is a robust offering of benefit education. We're going to talk about your 6 main federal benefits. We're going to go into your pension income, your TSP income. We're going to talk about 2 or 3 federal benefit secrets that I can guarantee you most people out there have not heard of. And these are little things that we've learned over the years, and we're going to impart them on you and how you can maximize things for your retirement so that in your unit or in your area of where you're working with your fellow employees, you know something that you might be able to also help others know as well. So just schedule that appointment. You'll see a link in the box, and then you'll be able to schedule, receive a copy of that book. Now, like I was saying before, we are education based. You know, like I said, when I started so long ago, it was all about education, and it's still all about education. We do webinars once or twice a month, and these are going to cover your 6 main federal benefits on like a 10,000-foot view kind of a level. And we're going to do a live pension consultation. We're going to do a live G-Fund comparison. We're going to take about 30 minutes to an hour of a live Q&A session after the hour is over. So we'll have an hour long of information, education, and then 30 minutes to an hour. However long you guys want to ask questions, we stick around. We block off pretty much the rest of our day just to serve you. So that's the next event there, the date and time. We're also going to put that into the chat. And then the conclusion of our Lunch and Learn series is next month on the 14th at 12:30 Eastern. And this is going to be on TSP maximization. The reason why we put it at the end, because it is the grand finale. It's the biggest, it's the best, it's the one with the most questions, the one where you have the most responsibility, the most requirements, and there's a lot riding on the line with TSP. So you definitely want to sign up for that. And I would share that with people in the office as well, because that's the benefit we get the most questions on. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to James. He's going to talk at you a little bit about Social Security. Then I'm going to pick back up at the end and close the shot for us.
All right. So Social Security. What is Social Security? A lot of people wonder. And it's the old age and survivors benefits. And this was started in 1935. Now, if you're a FERS employee or a CSRS offset employee, this is gonna be a part of your retirement. You're participating in this if you like to or not. It's not optional, right? If you're a regular CSRS employee without a break in service, you're not an offset. It still could be, depending on how many quarters of substantial earnings you have outside of your government service. Okay, so most people need to think about and understand what Social Security is and what they can get from it. What is this tool? All right, so when you're working, you're contributing 6.2% of every paycheck into Social Security. The government is matching that. So there's 12.4% of every paycheck is going into your future retirement income, and that's what fuels Social Security. Okay. Now, there are four main benefits that can come out of Social Security: disability benefits, widow benefits, spousal benefits, retirement benefits. What we're really going to focus on today is the retirement benefits, since we primarily work with federal employees that are getting ready to retire. Okay, so let's trudge forward and understand how they calculate your benefit and what options you have within this structure. So to qualify for a retirement income from Social Security, you've got to have 40 quarters of covered employment. All right, so that means that you were paying in, your employer was matching, and you have to hit a substantial earnings. And it goes back every year, back to 1935. They're going to show what was substantial earnings. Did you earn enough for it to qualify for a covered quarter? And then when you get to the end of your career, they're going to take your highest 35 years of earnings, and that's how they're going to start to calculate your retirement benefit. Okay, we don't have to go into how that is calculated, because Social Security should be sending you at least once or twice a year a benefit statement. If you're not receiving those, you should be. And really, the best thing for you to do, if you're curious what your Social Security benefit is estimated to be or on track to be, is to create an online account on ssa.gov. If you've never done this, please take the time to do this. It's the most accurate, it's the most up to date, and you can't lose it, right? You might lose your login information, then you have to wait for them to mail you new ones, which is never convenient. But I do encourage everybody to get onto ssa.gov. And I mean, the questions they're going to ask you to verify that you're you are pretty intense. You're probably going to have to phone a friend on some of them, because it's pretty crazy. The detail in which they know you, but it is very secure, and it's two-factor authentication, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's very secure, but it's a great tool. And when you get on to ssa.gov, on the home page, there's a great little tool where you can drag this little bubble to any year and month, and it'll tell you what would your benefit be, what's the most up-to-date estimate, what would your income be if you started collecting it that month. Okay, so great tool there. Everyone, please do that. Not now, of course, but after the webinar, and just set aside 10, 15, 20 minutes to do that. All right, so when can you start collecting Social Security? Well, as early as age 62, you could start collecting. This would be an early retirement, according to Social Security. And it gets complicated. We're not going to get deep into this, but depending on how many years before your full retirement age, it's either minus 5% per year or minus 6.5% per year off of what your payment would be if you waited until your full retirement age. All right. So this is going to be a reduced payment. These are the smallest. 62 is the smallest payment they're ever going to give you if you trigger it there, but you're going to make more payments. You're going to receive more payments in your life. Okay. Every month that you wait, a lot of people think it's years or it's 62 or full retirement and there's nothing in between. That's not correct. It's going up a tiny bit every month you wait past your 62nd birthday. Okay. And then once you trigger it, okay, that's where you're at. Now, full retirement age is by date of birth. If you're not already at your full retirement age, then your full retirement age is going to be somewhere between 66 and 67. They're currently in a transition moving to age 67. So a lot of you on here, 67 is going to be considered your full retirement age. And what's the significance to full retirement age besides just how much you get per month? A lot of that has to do with if you start collecting Social Security before your full retirement age, and you still want to earn an income. So we're talking about working, right? You own a business, you work as an employee, you're having earned income. Important to differentiate that between a pension and, like your TSP or 401k as an income. Those don't matter, but it's just earned income. You're working for an income. Then they're going to put what's called an earnings test. If you're less than full retirement age and you're still earning income, then there's an earnings test. This year, it's $21,400. That's the max you can earn being less than your full retirement age and not have it start to reduce your Social Security payment. All right, so let's say that you did earn above $21,400 this year. Okay, in that scenario, for every $2 that you earn above that earnings test limit, it's going to reduce your Social Security payment by $1. So this is something important. If you're going to retire before your full retirement age, this is one of the things we're going to ask you. Great. We're excited for you. We want you to retire earlier. but are you planning on working? And this is going to be one of the important key factors on should you pull your Social Security or should you wait, is if you're going to work and how much you plan on earning. Okay. Now, you can wait beyond your full retirement age, and it's what's called a delayed retirement. And now it's going to get, that payment will get 8% bigger per year that you wait. And once again, it actually breaks down to monthly, but averaging it, it's 8% per year. And then at age 70, it caps out. It's never going to get any bigger. And so I can't tell you, there's been dozens of people that I've done one-on-one consultations with. They're over the age of 70 and they're not collecting their Social Security. And it's like, oh, immediately, as soon as we get off the phone, you've got to call Social Security. You've got to start collecting that, because there's no advantage whatsoever to waiting beyond 70 to collect Social Security. You're just literally leaving money on the table. Okay. So this is where Justin's going to speak to this later on, and what should you do. A lot of financial advisors have latched on to this 8% increase, and they're telling people to do anything and everything, beg, borrow, and steal, and wait till 70 to pull their Social Security no matter what. That may or may not be the right answer. Okay, so we don't necessarily think along that line, and Justin's going to elaborate on that later on when he takes back over. But that's the general structure. Pull it as early as 62. Every month you wait after that, it gets bigger, caps out at age 70. Here's the important thing to know. There's a break-even age. It doesn't, you could literally run the math out. You pull it at age 62, that's the smallest monthly payment, right? But you got 8 years of those payments before you even started at age 70, okay? So you've got a lot of ground to catch up by waiting until 70. Most people, it's going to be somewhere in their early 80s that they're going to break even. At that point, the government has paid them the exact same dollar amount, no matter if they took it at 62 or 70. And so if you live beyond that, then by simple math, you could make out by delaying till 70. But if you don't live beyond that, then you lost out by waiting till 70. So there is no, unless you got a crystal ball and you know exactly when you're going to exit stage left, there's no exact science to this. But we're going to talk to you about some recommendations. Okay, now moving on. Social Security is not for certain. I'm sure most of you have caught wind of this, right? The future is very unknown. So here's the facts that we do know, and this is in quotes because it is directly from the Social Security site. They now know what their current projections are, is that in 2037 the trust fund is going to run dry. It's gonna be done. It's gonna be gone. And at that point, our current tax structure is going to allow them to pay approximately 76% of benefits. So between now and 2037, there's either going to be some big changes, i.e. increases in how much we all have to pay into Social Security, or people are going to start getting reduced benefits. Okay, so this system is not guaranteed necessarily, right? It's not guaranteed. We don't really know what the future holds for it, but we know some changes are going to have to be made. We also know that they couldn't just let it go belly up, because that'd cause a global financial crisis. But so we don't like to go doom and gloom on it, but it is important to be aware that something has to change. It's either you're gonna make less money off your Social Security, or you're going to have to pay more in Social Security taxes to make the system continue to work the way it's working now. Either way, we encourage people this should just encourage you or motivate you to be even more prudent in your saving and your investing of other funds, and really worry about taking care of yourself, and not lean too heavily on the Social Security benefit, because it is uncertain. All right. So I'm going to pass it off to Justin. I've just filled your head with a bunch of data. Now he's going to take that and turn it around and tell you, okay, here's what you might want to do with that.
James, I hate a bunch of data in my head. Why'd you do that to the people? Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'm evil.
All right. We'll try to undata this and talk a little bit more real life. Okay, Social Security maximization is a really good strategy to consider. You have to understand a couple things about James and I. We are not mainstream financial advisors. We are not traditional brick and mortar advisors. We're going to be outside the box. We're going to be delivering different ideas, suggestions, recommendations to you that are not us saying this is better than what you have been told or might be doing, but it's another opinion. It's another angle to consider. And ultimately, sharpening your angle so that when you retire, you know what the best option is, not just what one option was. Okay. And one of those things is Social Security maximization. And The premise behind this is a philosophical thought. Everyone out there, all 450,000 of you that registered and that attended, thank you. Wow, what a great audience. No, I'm just kidding, folks. It's not that many of you, just several hundred, but still, I would like each of you to think about this thought. Would you rather retire with a little less money for a longer period of life and have that money while you're younger, you can spend it, you're healthier? Or would you rather wait until you're older to have a little more money for a shorter period of life? And ultimately, it not only extends to Social Security maximization, but retirement in general. James and I want to give you the confidence and help you understand that you can retire sooner than you thought. Running the numbers, making sure everything looks good, everything's safe and secure, and you know what to expect is so helpful for that. So on the Social Security aspect of it, let me explain to you why we recommend pulling Social Security sooner than waiting. And again, this is not a blanket statement. There could be unique situations for tax reasons, whatever it might be, or it might be better to delay. But in general, if you retire at age 62 or whenever you retire, we recommend you start drawing Social Security at retirement. Now, if you're working and you're 66 to 67, like that FRA, that retirement age James mentioned, we recommend you start taking it, even though you're still working. And there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, let's take the retirement route, because that's most likely what's going to happen. Let's say that you retired at 62 and you were going to rely on Social Security. You were going to rely on your pension and TSP income, right? So, and then you were going to delay Social Security until 67 or 70, so you could get the 8% simple interest by delaying it. Well, if you take Social Security early at 62 and instead delay TSP, that's going to help you a couple different ways. First of all, the interest earned, okay? Compound interest is what you're earning in your TSP account. That is far superior to simple interest. Albert Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world for a reason. So if you're drawing Social Security, that allows you to compound at 8% annual rate of return, which is a very legitimate, reasonable rate of return to expect over that many years. You'll make a lot more money in your TSP that way, of course, versus letting simple interest build up in Social Security. The other thing to look at is the tax consequences, okay? Social Security is tax advantaged. It's about 50% on the dollar that's taxed, up to 85% as a maximum, whereas TSP is taxed at 100% on the dollar. So now we're delaying TSP, we're deferring taxes even longer, we're getting higher compound interest, and that's what we want in a taxable account, because we know taxes are going up, so we might as well compound the balance higher so that the balance is better and the income is bigger. Whereas Social Security, we're pulling money and it's tax advantaged, so it's not going to hurt us as much on the tax spectrum. The final thing to consider is kind of what James has already mentioned, which is the system's broken. I mean, if you knew that you could grandfather yourself in and potentially avoid any of the changes, whether it be through taxes or lower income, just to name a few, by taking Social Security earlier, it's similar to what happened in the first pension back in 2012. See, the first pension was under financial duress. It was facing insolvency, just like Social Security was, for some of the same reasons too. That's another story for another day. But in 2002, the government decided to fix the problem. And here's how they fixed the problem. Not by the people that were already grandfathered in. The people that were grandfathered in, they don't have to worry about it. It's the people that were hired after 2012 and 2014 and beyond. They have to pay 450% more into the same pension plan for the same benefit all of the people that were grandfathered into. So get grandfathered in. And that's what I'm trying to suggest, okay? Because that way you take some of the decision making out of the government's hand and put it in your hands. All right. So again, all of this could be completely different depending on a unique situation you might have. And we'd love to talk to you about your unique situation. One of the ways to do that is through scheduling a consultation. All right. And like it says here, everyone is different. So it might not work for one, but it might work great for someone else. And again, we're going to do a little 5 to 10 minute Q&A at the end, folks, and answer some of these questions. And if you have any live questions, we'd be happy to do that. Now, let me touch briefly on estate planning. So estate planning, James had mentioned, is one of our services. So estate planning is so important. It takes a holistic look at the financial future of your legacy. So we want to make sure that you're protected. So with estate plan, I'm referring to living trusts, living wills, financial, durable, and medical powers of attorney. Okay, that's a financial, or that's an estate plan right there. Most attorneys will charge between $3,000 and $7,000 for that. Okay, I know how most attorneys work. I've got family that are attorneys, and what happens in the traditional estate planning world is you pay $4,000 to get this nice estate plan done. The attorney meets with you the first time, takes the document, sets it on his legal document prepared desk, makes $50 an hour, and she does the work. Okay, you don't need an estate planning attorney in most cases, not all the time, but in most cases for a federal employee, you don't really need to hire someone to do that complex of a trust. We can do the same thing for you, get you set up with a living trust, wills, durable, medical, and legal power of attorney, all 5 documents for about $1,500. Okay, so that's something else we can talk to you about on a consultation. And
Justin, oh yeah,
go ahead.
oh no, I was going to say thank you. A lot of good info there. And as we're winding down to the end here, we got about 3 minutes before the hour. I just want to remind everybody, we are going to hang out and do a Q&A afterwards. So you can start filling up that Q&A with questions. We're going to hang out and make sure that we answer those questions that come in. In the meantime, just a reminder, we'd love to meet with you. We'd love to learn more about your personal situation. It's complimentary, and we're going to give you a great education on all your federal benefits and create a retirement estimate for you. I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that are just like, I've been through 3, 5, 7 webinars, full day presentations. And when you're group setting and people are talking at a high altitude overview, it's not as impactful as somebody talking with you one-on-one and saying, okay, here's your numbers. Here's what these benefits mean to you. Here's what your options are for retirement. And that's what we do in these. And that's why we recommend them so strongly. All right. And we'll get you
definitely.
That book. Yep.
Oh,
Quick
sorry.
reminder. No. Yeah, no worries.
Okay, good. So I think upcoming events, let's see. Yeah. So next on August the 24th, folks, at 1:00 Eastern, we've got our strategic planning, how to maximize your federal benefits and retirement in 1 hour. That's something that, like James was saying, you're going to get a lot of good information there. And we've had a couple people tell us, one lady recently said that she likes that when we give our presentation, when we give our information, we offer solutions. We don't just say, this is the government system, this is what's good, this is what's not so good, see ya. Live, we tell you, well, here's a better option, like I did with estate planning, like we did with, like we will with other things on our big webinar. So that's something that you're gonna get from us. And we look forward to seeing you on our final Lunch and Learn, the TSP Maximization, next on September 14th at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so that is pretty much it. We have one last thing that I'd like to ask James to facilitate here.
Yeah. And so you're going to get a short survey request. Our goal is, we're always striving to do better, communicate better, serve better to the federal employees. So please give us your feedback, good, bad, indifferent. We want to hear from you because we want to get better. That's our goal here, is we want to serve you as good as possible. And just a quick reminder, if you've just joining us for the first time, our previous Lunch and Learns are on our website, myfeba.org. And I think we have 3 or 4 of them up right now. And you can start catching up on these Lunch and Learns, on these deeper dives into individual topics if you want to catch up. A lot of good info in those. All right.
Yeah,
and so
I'll go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and yeah, the last 4 are up on our website, folks. Like James has mentioned, we got a lot of other good educational resources, tools, articles, information about your benefits. You can register for all of our other events there. And it was just a pleasure. We really like working for federal employees. And I know over the next 5 to 10 minutes, as we kind of close this out, there'll be other questions, but thank you so much for your time.
Yep. So if you've got to run because you only budgeted 30 minutes, you are free to go. The content, the new information is done. And now we're going to transition into starting answering some of these questions that are piling up in the Q&A here. So I'm going to start with the first one. And just so everyone knows, we're not going to disclose who you are. We're just going to say first name so we know that we're addressing you. Maria said, when can I collect my deceased spouse's Social Security without a penalty? I'm 66 and I'm still working. Fantastic question. So depending on your date of birth, your full retirement age is when you can collect it without any reductions. You could have pulled it as early as 60, but there would have been reductions. So just like your own, the longer you wait, the bigger that gets. So you can start to collect that at any point. I would definitely contact them and see what your estimated benefit is going to be. And that way you can start to collect those funds. And this is one of the few scenarios where you can do a Social Security maximization. So you can start collecting that spousal one now, because even at 66, even if your full retirement age is 67, then it's not going to be that much of a reduction. And then when you hit 70, you're going to get to make a decision, or they're going to help you with the decision. You'll get to collect, yours. I'm going to stop right there. I need to confirm that on a spousal, but you can start collecting, and I'd love to chat with you more and research on what other options you have on maybe further maximization.
All right. Sheila asks, I'm 62 and have 35 years of federal service. Are you saying I should start my Social Security? No, that's a good clarifying question. So no, we're not saying while you're still working at 62, like that last question was getting at. If you're at the full retirement age as determined on your Social Security statements, and if you're under the age of 60, you're not getting it mailed to you. Okay. That was one of the ways Social Security saved a lot of money by stop mailing those to everyone. But you can go to the ssa.gov website that James mentioned, and that's going to have the statement, and that's going to show you when is your full retirement age. So if you are under your full retirement age, we don't advise you taking Social Security. It'll be a big penalty. At full retirement age or later, that is where we do advise it.
Awesome. And so now I've got Igor. So you can start taking Social Security benefits at your full retirement age and keep working. Can't believe I didn't know that. It is absolutely correct. It's so fun to talk to the people that are working past their full retirement age, start collecting, and they're double dipping. We love to see it because people can just annihilate interest-bearing debt. They can double down on investments. They can pay off the mortgage. They can use that money to live and max out their TSP out of their paycheck. It gives you so many options to do those final preparations towards retirement. It's a really, really cool strategy. And so, yes, Igor, by all means, get a hold of them and start collecting that if you're over your full retirement age.
Let's see here. The question I had kind of slipped down. Let's find it here. Oh, Pamela asks, what is the formula to determine if you have enough money to retire? Well, we don't really have right now, we don't really have a mathematical formula to give you, but the formula in general looks like you want to make sure your income is higher than your expenses. It's a very simple formula, but as you pull it out and look at the different dialects of that formula, then we can figure out, well, okay, what are our income sources? What are the tax status of those income sources? How is my income or my expenses going to change in retirement? Am I driving less? Do I eat less for lunch because I'm not going to the office? Those kinds of things. So we basically need to figure out for you what your future income will be. And that's why we project in our consultations pension income and TSP income. So we give you the TSP income, which you likely haven't had before. And when you combine that with Social Security, now we know what your baseline numbers are. Then we got to figure out the expenses. And that's where we take a deeper dive with our clients.
Absolutely. Good info. And inflation is another thing we have to look at in retirement. But quick review here, and I forgot to touch on this on what is Social Security. Your Social Security payment is tied to the cost of living adjustment while you're collecting. I'm sure most people know that, but those of you that didn't know that, it's going to increase through time. Your pension is tied to the cost of living increase. That's going to increase through time. You know what doesn't increase with the cost of living automatically? TSP. You should be there on the next one. This is a really important thing to understand. And beyond that, schedule a one-on-one consultation with us. Inflationary loss is so important in not having longevity risk, the risk of outliving your money. So that TSP, it's on you. Unless you get help, it's all on you. TSP is not going to help you. They don't offer advice. So it's on you to be able to invest properly to be able to not outlive your money. Tanya, kind of a repeat. Can I draw my Social Security while still working? Absolutely. We don't recommend it unless you're your full retirement age or older. Otherwise, there's going to be penalties and reductions.
Okay, so a couple questions here. Robert asks, people discuss Social Security supplement, but as mentioned, Social Security is not collected until age 62 years old. So the Social Security supplement or the special retirement supplement, is that, I'm wondering if that is what you're talking about, Social Security supplement. Yeah, so it's not called the Social Security supplement, it's called the FERS Special Retirement Supplement, but another name for it would be Social Security supplement, I guess. So what that means is if you retire before the age of 62 and you've got the years of service required, so you're eligible for retirement, you get not only the pension when you retire, but you get a FERS special supplement, which is tied to your age 62 Social Security. So essentially it's your age 62 Social Security and your years of service. That's how they determine a couple of the aspects to the formula. That goes away at 62. It doesn't affect Social Security. It's not a negative thing. It's not going to reduce future earnings, but it's just going to go away at 62. And at that point, that's when we advise you to kick in regular Social Security. Good question. Then,
all right.
Did you want to?
What's
go
that?
ahead, James. No, go ahead.
Okay, yep. I've got another one from Robert. Is there an annual earning total amount where Social Security is not collected? So yes, there is. If you earn above for this year, it's about 160,000. So anything above that, they're not collecting the OASDI, the Social Security deduction on anything above 160,000. So that's the limit. I believe that's what you're asking, Robert.
So Velda asks, please, let's see. Sorry, hold on one second. That question, I don't really see the question. Sorry about that. So let's get back to Robert. So no, that one's already been asked. Okay, so it looks like we only have one question that hasn't been asked. And I don't know how to pronounce that first name, so I apologize about that. But the question says, after consultation, do you provide a plan for free or continue to meet regularly or as needed for a fee? So if you are a client of ours, you have unlimited consultations and advice from us. So there's no fee, and we're paid by the other institutions we work with. If you're not a client with us and you want to continue meeting, talking about a plan, we can do robust 75-page financial plans for you if you need, right? But then we'll charge a fee for that, an hourly fee for that type of an arrangement. And I think that's the last, one last question.
There we go. Eric just popped in like at the last second. If I retire and live on my retirement, TSP and Social Security, during those years, I'm no longer contributing to Social Security. Will this affect what I get at 62? So you're talking about retiring before 62, and as Social Security subsidy, you must be referring to this FERS special retirement supplement. Okay, there we go. Law enforcement officer. So he's a special category. It's not. So the projection that they're showing right now for your age 62 benefit, that would hold true. It's not going to negatively affect it. Obviously, if you continue to work a side job or something like that, you're going to pay into Social Security some, and that could affect it. But it's not going to negatively affect your Social Security if you retire, collect the FERS supplement, collect the FERS pension and TSP. Good question, Eric.
All right, I think that's it, folks. We really appreciate you hopping on today. Hope you learned a thing or two. Have a great rest of your week. And from Federal Employee Benefits Advisors, I'm thoroughly grateful for you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.